Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to talk about one of the most important houses in Vedic astrology. Yes, people, it's the third house. Now, why it is one of the most important houses? See, the third house, what is third house? It represents your courage, your personal initiatives, your efforts, your communications, your younger siblings. Now, for success in life, you need to put an effort. No matter how rich family you were born in, you need to put an effort at one point in your life eventually to maintain that wealth. Further, a strong third house and its lord is very much necessary for a businessman because it is the house of the personal initiatives and bold actions which are sometimes required to be taken at the right time in the business. Now, as third house is owned by the natural sign of Gemini, whose lord is Mercury, so one's communications, writing skills, etc., are to be seen from this house. Further, it is one of the it is the one of the important houses for the communications. So most of the artists are seen from this house. It is one of the important houses for artists. Especially one is made singer by this house. Of course, we have to see other combinations like if the third lord conjuncts with the second lord of voice along with the Karka Venus, and they are well placed together in the fifth house of performing arts. So one is definitely made a singer by this combination. And another important predictions that can be derived from the third house is that the dasha of the third lord always brings about the construction of the house, one's home. Why? See, the third house is 12th from the fourth house. 12th house denotes the expenses. And what is fourth house? Fourth house represents one's homes, one's house property. So third would represent, the dasha of the third would bring about the expenses on account of the construction of the house. Now, of course, we have to see the fourth lord as well, because the fourth lord should be strong in order to promise a house to the native. If a fourth lord is weak and it is malefics are quite strongly impacting the fourth house, and which denies the house to a person, then the third dasha of the third lord might indicate losses also on account of the home, on account of the house to a native. So depending on the dasha and the transits, we can actually predict the timing of the construction of one's home. Now further, another signification of the third house is about your younger siblings, your relations with them. If malefics are there in the third house, it would either deny the younger siblings or spoils your relations with your younger siblings. Of course, that would depend upon your ascendant and the signs and the planets in the third house. Now, another important thing is the third house represents your right shoulder and your right arm. And a group of malefics, if they are impacting together at the third house, sometimes it gives injury to the right arm. Further, guys, third house also represents small fights, small disputes, as it is 8th from the 8th house. If you apply the principle of Bhavat Bhavam, and 8th house represents the losses as well. So, being third, one of the least upachayas, it represents small fights and the small disputes. Now, for example, if a person has an Aries ascendant, especially for the Aries ascendant people, the third house ruler becomes Mercury, which also becomes the lord of the sixth house of disputes, litigations, fights. So, it can be considered that the third house might give some injury in a normal fight or dispute. And as every reaction is a result of your own actions, which comes from the third house. Another important thing that can be seen from the third house is how lazy or active a person can be in his or her routine life. See, if there are slow moving planets in the third house, like Jupiter or Saturn, that would make a person extremely lazy. For them to get up early in the morning is a very difficult task, as compared to the people who have fast moving planets like Moon, Venus, Mercury, or Mars in the third house. These folks are really active in their life. So, guys, this was my analysis of the third house in Vedic astrology, and there's a lot more to come. Till then, take care.